Okay, so let's jump right in. Um, Imagine you're like launching this amazing new venture here in Nepal, right?
Yeah.
Something you've totally poured your heart and soul into. Maybe it's a tech startup or a social enterprise or something. How do you even start getting the word out?
Yeah. Well, that's where PR comes in.
Right. But it can seem kind of mysterious.
Yeah.
Like, how do you make sure people actually get what you're doing and trust you?
Yeah, it is fascinating how PR gets this mysterious reputation.
Totally. Like
Well,
it's all about spinning stories and,
yeah.
manipulating the media or something.
Right.
But luckily, we have this Introduction to Public Relations syllabus. It's like our guide for this deep dive. And it's really cool because it's specifically designed for folks here in Nepal.
And it's for beginners too.
Yeah, exactly. So no matter where you're at, you can learn the real deal about PR. So what is PR really all about then?
Well, at its core, it's about strategic communication.
Yeah.
It's the art of building and really nurturing those relationships between organizations and whoever their publics are.
So it's less about like smoke and mirrors and more about like building genuine connections.
Absolutely. Think of it as a two-way street. It's not just about, broadcasting messages, but really listening and engaging in a dialogue with your audience.
Which makes total sense because nowadays, especially with social media, people can like totally sniff out anything that's fake or inauthentic.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Authenticity is key.
Okay, so we've got the two-way communication thing.
Yeah.
But to really understand how PR works, like in the real world, can we break down the different roles you'd find within a PR department?
Of course. Instead of just listing them out, I think it's more helpful to see how they all work together. Like, imagine a social enterprise here in Nepal wants to launch a campaign to promote sustainable farming practices. Okay. You'd have PR managers. They're like the strategic masterminds. They set goals and make sure everything is aligning with the organization's mission.
So they're like the architects of the whole campaign.
Exactly. Then you've got the communication specialists. They're the wordsmiths, crafting those compelling press releases, social media posts, website content, all that stuff. And it all has to resonate with their target audience.
So in this case, they'd be making sure the message is like clear, engaging, and really relevant to Nepali farmers, right?
Precisely. And of course, we can't forget about the media relations officers. They're the bridge builders. They connect with journalists and media outlets to get the story out there. So they'd be pitching this campaign to newspapers, radio stations, even online influencers.
Wow, it sounds like a real team effort. Each role is so crucial to making the campaign a success. So how is PR actually different from advertising or marketing? I feel like those terms get thrown around a lot.
It's a key distinction this course really emphasizes. You see, advertising is like a direct conversation. You're paying to get your message in front of an audience. Think billboards or jingles on the radio. You're literally buying their attention.
Okay.
PR, on the other hand, is about earning attention. It's about credibility and storytelling.
So it's about building that trust over time rather than just like shouting your message from the rooftops.
Exactly. And marketing focuses on promoting products or services to boost sales. Think of it as the buy now message.
Gotcha.
PR is more about building a long-term positive image for the entire organization as a whole.
So in our sustainable farming example, marketing would be about selling specific tools, maybe while PR is showcasing how the whole initiative benefits the community.
Precisely. And one of the models this course dives into is the Grunekant model. It outlines different approaches to PR.
Oh, cool. Okay, let's talk about that.
This model emphasizes two-way symmetric communication.
Two-way symmetric. So it's more than just talking at people. It's like actually having a conversation going back and forth.
Exactly. It's all about building genuine relationships, being transparent, listening to feedback, and, adjusting your approach based on what you hear. Think about a brand you really trust and respect. Chances are they've totally nailed this two-way communication. They feel authentic and responsive.
They make you feel like you're part of something, not just a consumer.
Exactly. And that's especially important in a place like Nepal, where relationships and trust are so incredibly important. This kind of communication creates loyalty, which is priceless these days. And what's super interesting? The whole media landscape is constantly changing, right? Especially here in Nepal.
Oh, yeah, totally. I mean, just think about how much has changed even in the past few years with online news and social media.
It's mind-blowing. And this Introduction to Public Relations syllabus, it really dives into this whole evolution from those traditional media like newspapers and radio to like the whole digital world we live in now.
So how does that big shift affect how PR professionals actually work? Like, what do they have to do differently?
Well, it means they need to be adaptable. Like really adaptable PR pros in Nepal have to be savvy about navigating all these different channels. They got to understand each platform and how to use them to reach the right audience.
So it's not just like copy-pasting the same message everywhere, right?
Yeah.
Each one is different.
You got it. Take social media, for example. It's all about engagement. You know those Nepali brands that are killing it online? They're not just posting boring press releases, they're creating content that people actually want to share. They're running contests, responding to comments. It's like they're building a community.
It's about having a real conversation with people instead of just talking at them.
Exactly. And that takes us back to that two-way symmetric communication we were talking about.
Right, right. So important.
But it's not just about being a tech whiz and mastering each platform. PR professionals still need to understand good old-fashioned journalism.
Oh, that's true. Because even if it's online, you're still working with journalists to get your story out there.
Precisely. Things like pitching stories, building relationships with reporters, and even knowing how to handle yourself in an interview. These are all super important skills for PR pros in Nepal, no matter what.
It's like a balancing act. Crafting the right message for each platform and building those relationships with the media.
Totally. Speaking of crafting the right message, let's talk about writing and PR. This syllabus actually has a whole section on it.
Well, yeah, because I think we've all seen some pretty terrible press releases and social media posts out there.
Oh, I've seen some bad ones for sure. But clear and compelling writing is so important in PR. Every single word matters, whether it's a press release, a website article, or even just a tweet.
So what are some of the keys to writing really effective PR content?
Well, one technique that's still used today is the inverted pyramid. It's a classic journalism approach where you put the most important info first and then follow it up with supporting details and background.
So it's like get to the point right away and then you can explain more.
Exactly. In today's world, you got to grab attention fast and deliver those key takeaways right up front, especially in Nepal where everyone is just bombarded with information.
Makes sense. Nobody wants to read through a bunch of fluff to find what they need.
And another thing that the syllabus really stresses is writing for your audience. You can't just use the same style for everyone.
Yeah, true. You wouldn't talk to a business journal the same way you'd talk to, young people on social media.
Exactly. Think about your audience's interests, what they understand, and what's going to resonate with them.
Okay, so it's a balance between being informative and engaging, but also staying true to the brand's voice.
Absolutely. A really good PR pro knows how to weave storytelling into their writing. Think about some of those successful Nepali brands. They're not just talking about products or services. They're telling stories that people connect with on an emotional level.
Yeah, they make you feel something. And that's what makes you remember them.
You got it. And the syllabus really encourages PR students to practice their writing. Keep a journal, work on expressing ideas clearly. That kind of thing.
That's a great tip. I think that could help anybody, not just people in PR.
Oh, for sure. Okay, so we've talked about communication media and writing, but how do you actually put all of this into practice? How do you plan a successful PR campaign, especially here in Nepal?
Well, that's where the PR plan comes in, right?
Bingo! It's like your roadmap to success. The syllabus outlines a pretty practical approach that you can apply to any campaign in Nepal.
Awesome. Let's hear it. What are the steps?
Well, first things first, you got to define your goals. What are you actually trying to achieve with this campaign? Is it about raising awareness for a new product or building up a positive reputation? Maybe you're launching some new initiative in a specific part of Nepal.
So knowing exactly what you want to accomplish from the get-go is super important.
Oh, absolutely. Then you got to think about strategy and tactics. How are you going to reach those goals? What channels will you use? What kinds of messages will actually connect with your audience here in Nepal?
And I'm guessing you need a way to measure if it's all working right.
You got it. A good PR plan always has a way to evaluate things. Track your progress, measure your results, and be ready to change things up if you need to.
So you got to stay flexible, especially here in Nepal where things are always evolving.
Exactly. Now, before we wrap things up, we can't forget about crisis management. Every organization, even the ones with the best intentions, they can run into unexpected problems. And in today's world, a crisis can blow up so fast, especially with social media here in Nepal.
Oh, yeah. News travels fast. So having a plan to deal with those tough situations is super important.
It's essential. This syllabus emphasizes that crisis management is a huge part of PR. It's all about being prepared for anything and having a clear system for communicating.
So you're not caught off guard when something happens.
Right. You want to be able to respond quickly with a clear message and in a way that keeps people's trust. The syllabus even has case studies of Nepali organizations that successfully handled crises. It shows how important clear and ethical communication is.
That's so interesting, how PR can build up a good image and then protect it when things get rough.
Exactly. For anyone working in PR or just interested in communication, this syllabus is a great resource. Tons of practical advice and insights that are perfect for Nepal.
So, listener, whether you're an entrepreneur, a business owner, or just curious about communication, this has been your crash course in Public Relations 101.
We've gone over the basics of PR, why clear communication is so important, and how the media landscape is always changing.
We've also looked at the practical stuff like writing effective messages, making a PR plan, and even handling those crisis situations.
It's been great exploring how PR can build relationships, shape how people see things, and help you achieve your goals.
And remember, even if you're not a PR pro, knowing these concepts can make you a better communicator in any part of your life.
Oh,
So keep those PR lenses on and never stop learning.